こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材はリバプールの遠藤航に関する動画です。1月の移籍市場でのリバプールは、まさかの補強ゼロで終わりました。噂自体も少なかったと思いますが、その動きの少なさから。市場が閉まる前からすでに、リバプールは冬も補強しなそうだという雰囲気が漂っていました。今回はザ・レッドメン TV でその移籍市場が閉まる直前に撮影された動画にて、補強がなかったとしても、現状のスカッドを見れば問題ないと、みんなが落ち着いて話し、むしろ今のスカッドが素晴らしすぎて、自慢したいほどだというテンションで話しています。遠藤航に関しても言及していますが、実際にどのように話しているのかチェックしてみましょ
う。Deadline day. I'll come to Dan first because I know you're well more all over this stuff. It does seem very unlikely that anything significant will happen in terms of ins for Liverpool.
Mate, you could ask the man off the street and they'd know that.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's deadline day, so Sky Sports will be trying to milk some bullshit, I'm saying, of it right now. There'll be definitely things. Liverpool will be doing things. It just won't be the things that people who are desperate for us to sign players will want them to be. So, yeah, by the time a lot of people listen to this, it will probably be over already. So there's no point dwelling on it, the liveness of it too much.
No.
But I want to start with the question really of, A, do you agree that that's the case to throw yourself potentially to the Wolves? And also, are you cool with that?
Nothing will be happening in terms of incomings. Absolutely nothing at all. I can say that with absolute chest. Am I cool with it? Yeah, because results dictate how cool I am with it, I guess. And we've just spent the last half an hour talking about how boss we are and how strong the squad is, etc. So, yeah, it's fine. I would have liked, rewind a couple of weeks, I would have liked to have done a little bit of business. I think already spoken about how I feel like an extra DM wouldn't have gone amiss. Somebody to sort of take up some of the slack of Ryan Gravenberch. I know Wataru Endo has stepped up brilliantly, manfully in recent weeks in that particular department, but still, I think that might have been helpful. But then I say that, and then you see Joe Gomez back, you see Curtis Jones back, seemingly ahead of schedule as well. Diogo Jota's back in around it as well. Federico Chiesa gets his first 90 minutes, so it's hard not to be at ease with the squad situation right now. But yeah, the deadline day is going to come and go without much in the way of Liverpool news. I think Jadon Danns looks destined for Sunderland on loan, which is quite an interesting move. One that I back actually I quite like. Sunderland are in and around the playoffs, if not automatic promotion spots in the Championship right now. And he's only played literally 7 games of football this season. So go and get some minutes, Jadon. I think it's a very smart decision.
There's something where obviously Doak's that way as well, albeit at Middlesbrough, that it's no bad thing actually if you want to keep tabs on a footballer. Having a couple in that area is probably going to make that a little bit easier.
Tonight as well, Sunderland Middlesbrough. Jadon Danns won't be part of it, but yeah, still.
But I mean, look, Chloe, go on, how are your general feelings on the depth and quality of the squad and the fact that we haven't added anyone this January?
I obviously would have liked us to, but don't we all? Can Liverpool win a league title without signing anyone in the next 12 hours? Yes. Would signing someone give them more of a boost and maybe help them do that? Yes. All of the above can be true. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm one of them where with a fully fit squad, I think, we've possibly got the best squad depth in the league. I think we've got the best squad depth out of us, City and Arsenal. That says that. Like you said, I would like to have signed someone more just for like the boost of it as well. Like your top, all of this is happening. Arsenal tried to get Ollie Watkins, which really would have killed me. Like I would have been, if Arsenal don't sign a striker, like that is the only thing that can ruin my next 12 hours, to be perfectly honest with you. If they don't sign a striker, I'll be fine. I'll be fine with it either way, because I back this squad. It's just everyone enjoys another sign and another little boost.
We're going to do a few of the transfer things on the bias show, but let's just double check on this. Ollie Watkins is 29, and I know he's and the one that always gets referred to, Chris, is the Robin van Persie transfer to Manchester United, where effectively Van Persie was buying the last Premier League title for Ferguson. But what it did was it left them in a situation where there wasn't a lot of great years left in Van Persie by the end of that one. And I think this is ultimately why. And look, John Duran moving is a big part of it as well. But Arsenal have got a valuation as well. They're not going to go to £100 million, I guess, to buy Ollie Watkins, even though that actually might be the thing that provides a catalyst for what they're doing. And that's not far off. A lot of the situation that Liverpool are in is the cost to improve upon what we own already is not as low as it was 5, 6, 7 years ago.
No, I think that's right. I think the thing like why Arsenal maybe don't go for someone like an Ollie Watkins is I do think that the PSR having teeth is having an impact on the transfer windows and stuff as well. I think, you know, if Arsenal sign him for, what were the figures that was
60
million quid. I mean, that's quite a lot of money for a 29-year-old who you might get a couple of years out of. I don't think he massively improves them either, to be honest with you. I think he's a better player than
he's a better goal scorer than Havertz
in terms of goal scoring and stuff. But like, then you've got to carry him for 4 years after this season, or 5 years, you know. What does that do to everything? The wages that he's on, the money. I don't think it's as easy as just you can just sell him anymore. For, you know, I think you've got to make... You'd have to sell him for more money to even just cancel the money that's in your accounts for the next 5 years, wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
I agree, but can I give you a Premier League title?
That's
because
the difference.
that is
Yeah, but I don't think Ollie Watkins is good enough to give them a Premier League
but
title.
that's what they
Doesn't
think.
guarantee anything.
It doesn't guarantee anything.
No,
But I think
I don't think it makes them any... I don't think it really improves them to the point where they need to go to 3 points a game. I don't think it improves them to that
maybe
level
not,
at all.
Can I suggest
like, you don't buy Ollie Watkins and win every game between now and the end of the season, which is what Arsenal need to do. So why don't you just go, you know what, if you're Arsenal, let's spend it on a better player in the summer, which is what they should be doing and what they are going to be doing, I think, ultimately. And it's the same for Liverpool. Like, I look at Liverpool's squad and I think about it and I go, there's one player out there right now, and we've just played against him in Kirkes, for me anyway, who I think improves Liverpool between now and the end of the season.
Yeah.
Other than everyone else that's bandied around and moving, none of them really improve us. So I would have liked to see Liverpool go all out and sign Kirkes this January. But I don't know whether there's a huge thing there that he's not allowed to buy from Bournemouth in a certain time period. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. It's the type of contract stuff that you would put in there if you were Bournemouth, a poaching contract of some description. Maybe it's a gentleman's agreement that you don't go back until the summer. Maybe Bournemouth just don't want to sell him now because they're pushing for Europe themselves.
He himself
or he
doesn't
want to move himself. Yeah, so for me, I don't get quite as angry about us not signing, when I don't think there's many players out there that do.
I totally agree on the left back thing. Is that's the one for me where, in particular, in terms of our first 11, that's the one where I can see you need to move one of Robertson or Tsimikas on. I think. I thought Robertson was brilliant at the weekend, by the way. I thought he really was. Having played 45 minutes at centre half in the week as well, which was interesting. But also Tsimikas takes the corner that we score the equalising goal against Forest, so he's got a skill set that he brings to the team and all that. So again, it's not like we've got a pair of bums who can't do. This is not the season where we had Fabio Aurelio and Emiliano Insua as our two left backs, and Aurelio was never fit and Insua was a kid and couldn't get up to the standard, and then got thrown under the bus and got slaughtered by fans, and then, you know, his career was effectively over. Different world, and there's been countless examples of that over the years. The thing for me is really interesting is taking it back to the team that started against PSV. So these are the players who played against PSV who weren't involved at the weekend. Kelleher, Tsimikas, Quansah, Endo, McConnell,
Elliott.
Did Elliott come up? No, Elliott, Chiesa and Dans.
So 5 of them, Paul. Oh, you did it!
8 footballers who started that game, you know, and you know, to varying ages and qualities and all that kind of stuff. But it goes back to it, Dan. Federico Chiesa, we were having debate, what's up with him? Why is it? The fact of the matter is, right now in Arne Slot's pecking order, he's the 6th choice attacking player for us. Federico Chiesa is our 6th choice attacking option. That's fucking class. And that doesn't even count Jadon Dans, who I think we all think has got potential to be a really special footballer. Everyone's got a soft spot for Endo, whatever you might think about his overall ceiling. Elliott's been proven time and time again that he can be a match winner for Liverpool, etc., etc. We all loved Quansah last year. We thought he was, again, the perfect hybrid between Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk. Exactly.
It's an incredible position to be in, and everyone's raving about McConnell's performance in midweek, and rightfully so as well. Looks like he's going to be sticking around for the rest of the season too, so there's another option there. But you're right about the Chiesa point, and when you put it in terms of like attacking pecking order, yes, 6th choice sounds boss, because it is, but you can go one step further than that and say him and Joe Gomez, by all accounts, were perfectly fit, perfectly fine for the weekend, couldn't get in the squad. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is absolute. To have two players of that quality, class, experience, etc., not even be able to force their way into a matchday squad speaks to exactly what we've got at our disposal right now. And how many times in recent weeks has the bench been the difference maker? Compare that to Bournemouth, who've been on an absolutely exceptional run, swatting aside all before them. They had 2 senior lads fit and available on their bench in the weekend, and we had 9, and then some left in reserve who probably didn't even travel down to the South Coast. Like, it's ludicrous the position we're in. So, yeah, I take your point. The left-back thing's really interesting. The reason I don't think we did it is because of Kostas Tsimikas and Andy Robertson, actually. I think moving one of them on or trying to do something there mid-season feels a little bit derailing unnecessarily, ever so slightly. I don't think we're going to really broach that subject right now. In the summer, definitely.
I think it would have been different if someone else had come in with a bid for Kerkez. You know what I mean? What about the opportunism of it all?
Yeah, possibly.
That's something that triggers sometimes. If you've decided he's your number one choice above all else, if someone else tries to get him in January, maybe that's the kind of thing that
we end up with we carry 3 for this. But then on the flip side of that, if somebody turns up with 35 million for Tsimikas out of nowhere, early January, then we go, listen, this is probably going to happen in the summer anyway, so let's just do it now, potentially.
Yeah, because then you'd also... The only reason I thought maybe Liverpool might do it is because if that's an area you need to improve on in the summer, well, another 15 million's going on Kerkez's head. Because,
That's never really bothered. You're right, but that's never seemed to bother us. Has it? If he's the guy, he's the guy ultimately.
I get that, but what I'm saying is,
you are right, though.
That is something that you need to you can think about, and maybe getting it done in January. You taking a little bit. I mean, it depends because they're not going to want to lose him in January.
Exactly.
So
you're not going to. Again, they're having a good season. The odds are it puts more money on his head in January than it puts on in the summer. Maybe, if you leave it, because he can continue to have a brilliant season, but he's going to be where he's going to be roughly. People accept end of season transfers, whereas January you've then got to go and you've then got how many weeks or days to go and get your replacement when everyone knows you're cash rich over the transfer.
Can I just say on that, they're quick. They've signed a left back who's arriving in the summer.
Yeah, Soler, isn't it?
Yeah, they've already signed potential Kirk as replacement. So that summer thing, whether it's Liverpool or anybody else, that feels almost inevitable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm look as all. I'm reasonably calm about the whole thing. I agree with everyone's sentiments. It's exciting to sign players, and we signing Gakpo was great. Diaz was great. Christ, we were signing Robbie Fowler back in a January and being over the moon because you get something new to learn and something new to see, and you've got more different potential match winners. But look, Trent gets injured at the weekend, so that whole thing of we've got too many for the bench. As soon as someone else picks up an injury, you're right back to the right amount of players for the bench. But I don't know. We've been bitten by this injury bug thing before. This time last year, it really sort of started to fall apart for us. We need that to not be the case. But even look like at Arsenal. So they've had their injury issues, and it's meant they've had to use Lewis Skelly and they've had to use Monieri probably more than they would have done if the absolute ideal was there. And those lads are flourishing and thriving as a result of it, and we've had similar examples of that over the years. So not only that, you mentioned McConnell and Dans could well end up out on loan, but there's a world where last season where they're actually playing games and getting better for us, and we've got that beneath all of these sorts of senior footballers as well. So they seem reasonable. I mean, again, Slot seems reasonably calm about it.
Yeah, he mentioned in that Gary Lineker interview, didn't he, that they're working on stuff for the summer and not likely to do stuff in January. And I know a lot of that's a big red flag for a lot of people monitoring FC and all that type of stuff. But I'd rather be that, I suppose, than Manchester United, who City decide they want to try and buy Cristiano Ronaldo, and then they just go, fuck, okay, then let's just buy him for no reason whatsoever. I think there's a fine balancing act, isn't there, between not being active enough in the transfer market and being, overactive. And I think, listen, if I was in charge of the club, I would be more active than we are.
Oh yeah.
Even if I employed Michael Edwards and everything else, but I'm a person who just talks about Liverpool. Well, it's not my job to understand everything that goes into it.
The thing, where I say from my position on this, I thinking about it, I wouldn't, because I'm the guy who used to play for. I can't manage Liverpool on Champ or Footy Manager ever because I am not brutal enough. I love the Liverpool players too much. So we had a mate, Rich, who would treat it like a video game. So he'd come in and go, well, here's 7 players who aren't good enough. And he would just sell them immediately. I'm like, oh, but like, he might come really good. I really like what he could think of, but the game doesn't think he's good enough, so get rid of him.
He's got no pace, which means he's useless.
Yeah, but his pace, I might be able to train his pace to be good. I really want him to be good, so I'm going to make him be good. And I just love the lads that we've got, and I can't envisage what the outside would look like. I always tend to think that when you've got a good core of lads, like let's use Endo as an example. Endo is not good enough to be a starting midfielder for a team, for like Liverpool, Arsenal, or Manchester City. I don't think, not a regular one. I think he can start isolated games, as we saw last season. But the intangibles of what he brings in terms of his character and his leadership and his experience, and just being completely different to everything else that we own, carries a value that is very difficult to measure. And so actually being able to just bring someone on with 15 minutes to go who just loves kicking people is great. It's not really how you want to construct the 75 minutes or 85 minutes that have gone before, fine. But you could go and get someone who's, again, silky and great. Go and get someone else who's Ryan Gravenberch. And that's probably going to be the ideal in the long term. But while you've got a good thing going, I don't see any reason to totally.
No, you're not totally. No, you're not totally, are you? I mean, I'd just buy players, I wouldn't sell them. Just end up with a massive squad, and then the manager goes, I can't keep everybody happy. And I'm like, well, I am though, so.
Yeah. The Todd Bowley approach to football. Yeah, definitely. I'm all in on that.
次は解説です。今回の動画は少し長めだったので、解説したいボキャブラリーももう少しありましたが、時間の問題から少し数を減らしてピックアップしております。今回は試しで、トイックのテストに出るようなものなのかという品質度と点数の目安を追加してみました。スラングや造語などトイックに出ないようなものは含めていませんし、そもそもこのチャンネルがトイック用の教材ではありませんので、ただの参考程度に見ていただければ嬉しいです。それでは本日の解説をチェックしてみましょう。
I can say that with absolute chest.
with absolute chest は自信満々に、堂々とという意味のスラングで。胸、つまりチェストは誇りや自信の象徴で、この表現は 100% 確信しているというニュアンスになります。特にイギリス英語のスラングとして、スポーツや SNS でよく使われる表現なので、覚えておくと面白いでしょう。
I can say that with absolute chest. I can say that with absolute chest. I would have liked, rewind a couple of weeks. I would have liked.
リワインドは巻き戻す、戻るという意味があります。また、比喩的に時間を巻き戻す、話を少し戻すという意味でも使われ、カジュアルな会話や映画、音楽の話題でよく使われる単語です。
I would have liked, rewind a couple of weeks. I would have liked, rewind a couple of weeks.
Actually, if you want to keep tabs on a footballer.
keep tab on は監視する、注意深く見守る、動向を把握するという意味のイディオムで、例えば、警察は容疑者を監視している、や、競合の動向を注視する必要がある、のように使います。ビジネスやニュース、日常会話でもよく使われる表現です。
Actually, if you want to keep tabs on a football, actually, if you want to keep tabs on a football, even though that actually might be the thing that provides a catalyst for.
カタリストは触媒、きっかけ、変化を促すものという意味があります。もともとは化学用語で化学反応を加速させる物質を指しますが、そこから派生して変化や行動を引き起こす要因という比喩的な意味でもよく使われます。何か重要な変化の引き金となる出来事を指すことができ、何かをきっかけに状況が大きく動くシーンを表現したいときにとても便利な単語です。
Even though that actually might be the thing that provides a catalyst. Even though that actually might be the thing that provides a catalyst for.
I do think that the PSR having teeth is.
ハブティースは効果がある、影響力を持つ、実行力があるという意味のイディオムで、もともとは歯があるイコール噛みつく力があるという比喩から来ており、法律や規則、政策が本当に機能する場合に使われます。ただのルールではなく、実際に人々に影響を与えるというニュアンスを持っており、政治やビジネスの場面でよく使われる表現です。
I do think that the PSR having teeth is. I do think that the PSR having teeth is. Other than everyone else that's bandied around and moving, not.
バンディは言葉や意見をやり取りする。軽々しく言うという意味があります。 フランス語が語源で、もともとはスポーツのバンディと呼ばれる曲がったスティックを使うホッケーの一種から派生しています。議論や噂話が飛び交う場面で使われ、ニュース記事やフォーマルな文章でも時々見かける単語です。
Other than everyone else that's bandied around and moving, other than everyone else that's bandied around and moving, not a poaching contract of some description.
ポーチは密漁する、引き抜く、料理で茹でるという3つの意味があります。例えば、競合企業から優秀なエンジニアを引き抜いたのように、ビジネスでは人材を奪うや引き抜く意味で使われることが多いです。スポーツ、ビジネス、料理など幅広い分野で使われる単語です。オブサムディスクリプションは何らかの種類の、ある種の、何かしらのという意味の表現で、例えば何らかの種類の制服を着ていたのように、正確にはわからないけど、それっぽいものがあるという場面で使われます。日常会話やニュース記事で登場することがあるので、何かしらのと言いたいときにぜひ使ってみましょ
う。A poaching contract of some description. A poaching contract of some description. A poaching contract of some description.
And all that. So again, it's not like we've got a pair of bums who can't do this.
バムは怠け者、不老者、お尻、ダメな、せびるなど様々な意味があります。例えば、働きたがらないただの怠け者だのように、働かない人やダメなやつを指すことがよくあり、イギリス英語ではお尻の意味でも使われます。さらに、せびるやダラダラ過ごすという動詞の意味もありますが、カジュアルな表現なので、フォーマルな場面では使わないようにしましょう。
And so again, it's not like we've got a pair of bums who can't do this and all that. So again, it's not like we've got a pair of bums who can't do this. Everyone's got a soft spot for Endo.
Get a soft spot for は特別な愛着を持つ。なんとなく好きになるという意味のイディオムで、理屈ではなく感情的に誰かや何かを好きになるときに使います。主に日常会話やカジュアルな会話で使われ、特に人や動物、食べ物、趣味などへの行為を表す際に役立ち、好きだけど、なぜかは説明できないといったニュアンスを伝えたいときに便利な表現です。
Everyone's got a soft spot for Endo. Everyone's got a soft spot for Endo.
Swatting aside all before them.
スワットアサイドは軽く払いのける、簡単に打ち負かす、無視するという意味の表現で、例えば、相手を圧倒したというように、スポーツなどで相手を簡単に倒すときに使います。また、批判や懸念を無視する場面でも使え、気にせずスルーするや圧倒的な強さで片付けるニュアンスを表したいときに便利なフレーズです。
Swatting aside all before them. Swatting aside all before them. It's ludicrous the position we're in. So,
ルーディクラスは馬鹿げた、滑稽な、ありえないほどおかしいという意味の単語ぜ。例えば、非現実的で笑ってしまうほどおかしい状況を表すときに使われたり、不合理な決定や行動を批判する際にもよく使われます。ニュース記事や日常会話、風刺的な文脈でよく出てくる単語です。
It's ludicrous the position we're in. So, it's ludicrous the position we're in. So, feels a little bit derailing unnecessarily, ever so slightly.
デレールは脱線する、脱線させる、計画を狂わせる、話をそらすという意味の動詞で。本来は列車が線路から外れることを指しますが、比喩的にプロジェクトが頓挫する、会話が脱線する、キャリアが台無しになるという意味でも使われ、ビジネスや会話の場面でよく使われる表現です。
Feels a little bit derailing unnecessarily, ever so slightly. Feels a little bit derailing unnecessarily, ever so slightly.
Like for a lot of people monitoring FC and all that type of stuff like that.
モニターリング FC は何かを異常にチェックしている人たちという広い意味で使われることもありますが、基本的には移籍市場の動向を常にチェックし、クラブの補強状況について不満を言うファン層をユーモアに表現するスラングです。サッカー関連の SNS やフォーラムでよく使われ、補強がないとすぐ文句を言うファンを皮肉る表現です。
Like for a lot of people monitoring FC and all that type of stuff like that. Like for a lot of people monitoring FC and all that type of stuff like that.
So I can't envisage what the outside would look like.
インベセージは将来を思い描く、予想する、想定するという意味の動詞で、まだ起こっていないことを頭の中でイメージするときに使われたり、計画や戦略を考える文脈でも使われます。アメリカ英語ではインビジョンの方が一般的ですが、 ビジネスやニュースなどでは、インベセージもよく登場します。
So I can't envisage what the outside would look like. So I can't envisage what the outside would look like.
いかがでしたか？遠藤航の価値は、数値化できないような、特別な価値があるという感じでしたね。まさしくそのプロとしての取り組み姿勢や、リーダーシップ、献身性というのは、足の速さやシュート力などと比べて、数値化しづらいものでしょうし、遠藤航の良さの大きな部分でもあるので、なおさら特別な選手のように感じているように思えます。現状では怪我人が出ない限り、先発の第一候補にはなり得なそうですが、遠藤航ができる最大限のことをやっている結果であることは、間違いなく言えそうですし、そこが、リバプールファンが今一番評価しているところでしょう。今晩はカラバオカップ準決勝のセカンドレグがありますが、これまでは先発してきたこの大会でもベンチからのスタートだとは思いますが、途中からの出番はかなりありそうですので、楽しみにしたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。